Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how's it going over there?
Hey, good. How are you?
Fabulous, fabulous. Got a really good study here. For those of you who like chocolate milk, you're really going to like this. A new study in New Zealand found that older people could live longer and healthier lives if they drank a glass of chocolate milk every day and went for a walk. Oh, well, never mind. You got to walk, too? Honestly, we've been going for walks lately, and it's been kind of fun. It's been fun for a couple of reasons. We got two little puppy dogs that I got to be careful if I say it too loud because you just say the word walk.
Oh my gosh, they get so excited.
Because they love going for walks.
Yeah.
Our daughter was with us the other day when we were walking, and she's like, why do the dogs like going for walks so much? I'm like, because they're stuck in the house all day. I mean, all day. They're in the house looking out the window like, I wonder what's going on out there. So they love going for walks. So go for a walk and drink some chocolate milk, and you will live what did it say again? Longer and healthier life.
Or just go for walks and skip the chocolate milk and probably have the same effect.
Come on, don't be a buzzkill.
I'm just saying.
All right. Thanks for listening on a Tuesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. So what do you have to lose? And if you're buying an RV, you got to find the great deals at RVWheelator.com.
Now back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Archaeologists in Jordan have discovered what could be the oldest Christian church in the world. An underground cave that may have been used by the first disciples of Jesus Christ. They found it, and I think that's really cool. That's in Jordan.
That is cool. That's very cool.
How weird would that be? And I wonder what did they find in there that they're like, oh, hey, this is probably where James was teaching. I'm not sure what they found exactly that would make them think
This is the first I've heard about it. So you're the one who read the story. What did they find?
I just read everything that I know. I'm sorry if you feel like I was holding out on you. I gave you everything. There's nothing left. I could probably Google it and find some more, but that's really kind of cool. I always wonder, like when they do the carbon dating and all this stuff where they try to, how do they know that that's accurate? Because I remember there was a study where they had proved that part of that wasn't right. They had some lava, like that was brand new, that was just formed like a year ago. And they said, oh, it's 7 million years old. Like, no, it's from last year. So I don't exactly know how all that stuff works. I ain't never claimed to be no smart feller. All right. Thanks for listening. Got your Heard It on the Radio coming up after this.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
You know it's got to be true because you heard it on the radio. If you've ever had a bad day, think about this. Do you like traffic? I'm not a fan of traffic.
I don't get too worked up in traffic. You do.
I'm not a fan. But imagine being caught on the outside of a train and dragged through a tunnel. Yeah.
Whoa, yeah, that would bother me.
A man in Calcutta was on a terrifying train ride when the doors slammed shut before he could get into the train, grabbing his arms while leaving him on the outside. People inside the train held his arms while the train was going about 30 miles an hour and went through the tunnel between the two stations, with everybody fearing that he would be bashed against the tunnel walls. It was a 3-minute horrifying ride. The emergency alarm knob was not functioning correctly. Why didn't the conductor see the man hanging from the train when it was about to leave the station? Well, seems some incompetent camera installer placed the cameras incorrectly so the conductor could only see part of the train. The people on the train were incensed. Were incensed? What does that mean? And heckled and attacked the Oh, that must mean mad.
Angry.
They heckled and attacked the train driver at the next stop, prompting the union to go on strike on the spot, demanding a safer workspace. The 3-hour strike ended when officials promised to post police on all platforms and near booking counters. So now they're saying, hey, you guys are going to be fine. Because they were saying because this happened, the passengers were going to be unsafe to the driver because the driver did this. What about the passengers? You just dragged this man on a 3-minute trip.
Yeah.
So you guys, your union goes on strike saying, hey, it's not safe for us to work here anymore. Wait a minute, you almost killed a man. So that happened in Calcutta. I wonder there were a lot of things that happened wrong. The doors didn't work right. Then there was a faulty switch, so they couldn't notify the driver. And then on top of all of that, the cameras were not installed correctly. Think about how many things had to go wrong for this to happen.
Right. And then they strike because
I just think it's really
it's unsafe for us, the driver.
It's not like there was just one little accident. It was a lot of things that were wrong on that whole story. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. In Wadsworth, Ohio, the firefighters hit the crime-busting jackpot when they were dousing a fire in a new home. It did seem strange that the guy believed to be the owner suddenly took off while they were still battling the blaze. Then it all made sense when they found $700,000 worth of marijuana in the basement. A total of 239 plants were found, but that's not the only crime. The special marijuana cultivating system with the special plant-growing lights was wired to the home's electrical system in a way that it bypassed the meter. That's not all that safe. Police are now looking at the owner who bought the place just under a month ago. So he just recently bought the place.
Wow, he rigged that up quick.
Yeah, $700,000 worth of stuff in there and caught the place on fire, yeah. Doesn't sound like he's a trained electrician. So don't do this stuff at home, kids. This is your brain on drugs. Coming up, we also have some fun stuff we're going to be talking about. Options in life, dying or living with lawyers. We're going to tell you all about that coming up in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
We have options in life. You know, we can die or we can live with lawyers in today's moment of they show that committing suicide isn't as easy as it sounds. A Hong Kong woman jumped off the roof of a building in an attempt to kill herself. She failed, though. She landed on a car. Now, the car's owner is suing her for $25,700 in damages. And if that's not enough, this lady is now saying that she won't pay for the damages because the guy was illegally parked. And if he had not been illegally parked, she would be dead now. So she's suing him
so she's blaming
for stopping him from killing herself. That is just a really weird story. But here's the thing I have learned. You get a couple of attorneys involved in something, it's going to get interesting really quick.
You would think she would have noticed the car was there before she jumped, so it's not like it's his fault.
I don't know whose fault it is, and I'm not exactly sure. What kind of car was it that saved her life? Maybe they should be running ads saying the life-saving power of a Volvo or whatever it is. All right, we've got your scoop of the day coming your way, and Tuesdays with Charlie is on the way here in a bit.
The John and Heidi Show podcast is brought to you by DirecTV.
They have big-time savings going on right now, so you can sign up and save. Get all the details at 1-800-259-7646.
Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
Quite possibly the best way to buy an RV or to sell an RV. They're like a realtor for your RV. Check out RVWheelator.com.
And the Dollar Shave Club.
Get amazing razors for $1 a month, and for a few bucks more, they'll bring them right to your door.
Sign up today at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
And now, your scoop of the day. A new report shows that a new billionaire is created every week in China.
Wow.
Yeah. Everything's made in China these days. Even billionaires are made in China. Now, I thought that they weren't capitalists. They're communists. So even the communists create billionaires? Doesn't that kind of foil their whole system? I was thinking that, maybe I'm thinking wrong. I don't know. Teenagers depend on their cell phones for keeping up with friends and trends on social media. But should they be allowed to have them at school? I think we talked about this.
I think we did.
This is from a while back. And the study found that schools banned mobile phones. Student scores on tests went up 6.4% when they didn't have them.
We talked about that.
Tell me if I
we were
heard any of these other things. Southern California woman has been charged with beating her boyfriend to death with canned food. I don't think we've talked about that.
I would have remembered this.
Pretty sure I would have too. Prosecutors have filed a murder charge against 59-year-old Linda Jackson of Lake Los Angeles. Lake Los Angeles? I didn't know that was a place. Anyway, Jackson is charged with striking her 59-year-old boyfriend, David Ruiz, in the head with a can of peas, also with a can of carrots and a can of chicken broth. This all happened at her home last week. If convicted, she could face life in state prison. I really shouldn't joke about this because the guy died, but were those things all like together, or was she throwing the can separately? I'm not exactly sure what happened there.
I wonder what he did.
I don't know either. But she pelted him with 3 cans. You know, I could see it if she had him like in a pillowcase and was smacking him. Then they're all together. But was she throwing the cans individually?
I have no idea.
Here's the ingredients that you asked for. I'm not sure. Again, I really feel bad that I'm making a joke of that. Rick Perry's team decided to go into damage control Friday after the presidential candidate called last week's South Carolina church shooting an accident. A Perry rep classified it as a simple slip, saying he meant to say an incident, not an accident. So there you go. I can see those words are close. Just like they say candidate is one of the things they're using to describe him, and then others say joke. You know, those things are close too.
Seriously, I to get all worked up over that. I mean, it was a horrible. It was a horrible incident. But he wasn't saying that it was no big deal. No matter how he phrased it,
no, I
he was. I mean, come on, people, relax.
Do you ever say or I mean or like?
Yeah.
Those people who use those things, I mean, like, they're not being ditzy. They're being conscientious. So a new study says, the Journal of Languages and Social Psychology says the authors use such filler words tend to be used by people who are more thoughtful than most. You know? You know what I mean?
Well, if you're taking your time to phrase your words properly and make sure you don't say things like accident instead of incident.
It was an incident. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right. If you have a long commute to work, that might be a problem for your love life. Science Daily found that long-distance commuters are more likely to break up than people who don't have long commutes.
We're in luck.
Not just by a little bit. The study found that long-distance commuters run a 40% higher risk of separating. Well, according to that study, we are together forever. We have a very short commute. And we work together and live together. And we are always together.
Every day.
I noticed
24 hours a day.
You say that with a smile on your face. Thank goodness. A new study finds that bilinguals have faster brains. Yeah, like they needed one more great thing to tell. I speak 8 languages. Really? Yeah. And my brain is faster, too. I speak 1 language, and I'm not even very good at that one. If you get a tattoo, be prepared for this little-known side effect. The skin in the area will become less sensitive to touch, according to New Scientist. That's a report from New Scientist. A small study suggested that the tattooing process may disrupt the nerve signals to the skin, so whichever area you're getting this tattoo is going to have less feeling in it. Heidi?
I suppose that's right.
You have enough tattoos. Is
I
that
do
true?
have tattoos. I don't know. I've never paid much attention.
Can you tell when I touch you anymore? I didn't even know you were in the same room. All right, strange law. Bowling is forbidden in Evanston, Illinois. No bowling in that town.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe because they don't have a bowling alley. I'm not sure, but it's illegal there, too. Huh. That is our strange law, and this has been our scoop of the day.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF. toughkennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. Time now for one of my favorite things that we do all week. We pick up the phone and we call my father-in-law for a little program we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie. How you doing, Charlie?
It's your lucky day, isn't it?
It is. Every Tuesday is my lucky day. We get to talk to you.
A beautiful day it is, too.
Well, what kind of cool stuff are we going to learn about today, Charlie?
Well, we'll see what comes up here.
Okay.
Okay, you know that some experts believe that our attempts to hold gas in are an unnatural result of our enclosed lifestyles.
Well, that's probably true, because if you're outside, you just let her fly.
And the buildup pressure is responsible for all kinds of bowel diseases.
No kidding.
Which I will never have, by the way. Because
you don't ever hold them in?
No. I want people to know where that came from. Yes, it was me. I did it. Now, this is official studies have found that right-handed people tend to scratch with their left hand and then vice versa.
So left-handed people scratch with their right hand, and right-handed people scratch with their left hand.
Yep.
I don't think I do. I think I scratch with my right hand.
Well, it depends on what you're scratching, too.
Yeah, I say for me, it depends on where the itch is. Like right now, because we're talking about scratching, I don't know if I'm the only one that when you talk about bugs and stuff, I get itchy.
It feels weird to scratch with my left hand.
I scratch with both. I can scratch with both hands at the same time. I'm ambidextrous.
Yes, you are. There's another word for that, but I can't do that. Hey, then, did you know that the brain actually stores different parts of a memory in different locations?
I did not.
It's kind of like a computer. I've got all kinds of stuff. It's up there. I just can't find it.
Well, that's pretty cool.
You press the right button, and I'll come up with all kinds of stuff. Some of it you don't want to hear.
Well, we're going to press some buttons here in a minute. I got a couple of good questions for you, but we'll let you finish your stuff first.
Okay, then did you know that nearly all boys grow at least as tall as their mothers?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Never really thought of it before, but that makes sense.
I think that worked with Burmeister, though.
Yeah, he's way taller.
Way taller.
Yeah. And then the average person will swallow 295 times while eating.
Oh, wow. See, I think I probably swallow less than that. Heidi makes fun of me for taking big bites.
She can eat this whole meal in one bite, so it's ridiculous. He snarfs it down.
It's a blessing and a curse.
And then the average American will eat at McDonald's 1,811 times in their life.
I think we did that last week.
That's nothing new, is it? And then I got one last hair thing for you before we get into any questions.
All right, what's that?
Do you know, according to the World Health Organization,
WHO, yeah.
there are approximately 100 million acts of sexual intercourse each day.
No kidding?
Wow.
100 million.
That's a lot.
Crazy.
Huh.
That's a lot of people having fun.
How is it that I keep missing out on these things? Well, Charlie, are you ready for a good couple of questions here?
Whip her on me. I'm ready.
Well, since this Saturday is the 4th of July, I decided to go 4th of July on you today. We've got a question here. How many presidents were born on the 4th of July?
4.
No, there was one.
One?
Calvin Coolidge is the only president who was actually born on the 4th of July. Now, here comes the interesting thing. How many presidents died on the 4th of July?
4.
No, 3.
Oh, that's close.
You were close. And it's interesting. 3 of the first 5 presidents died on the 4th of July. So John Adams, our second president, Thomas Jefferson, our third president, and James Monroe, our 5th president, they all died on the 4th of July. And here's the really cool thing. John Adams and Tom Jefferson, they were the only 2 presidents to sign the Declaration of Independence. You know that thing that was celebrated or signed on the 4th of July, 1776?
Right.
Exactly 50 years later, they both died on the 4th of July, 1826. How crazy is that?
Did you get this information from Burmeister?
No. I've known this for years.
Oh, really?
I'm just fascinated by that. And then it was 5 years later, James Monroe died on the 4th of July as well. And fortunately, we haven't had any president die on the 4th of July since 1831. So it's been a long time.
Well, then it could happen again.
Well, hopefully not anytime soon. I don't need any of that. But it was great chatting with you again today, Charlie. And since you didn't get the question right, I guess it doesn't matter. I came up with these anyway. So.
Oh, you don't get nothing then.
No, I don't. But if you've got a good question for Charlie, we'll gladly ask him. Get it to us, and then we'll ask him next week. You have a great day. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday, just because we can, with a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
Today is the last day of June. Today is Tuesday. It is the 30th day of June.
How did that happen?
I know. Time flies when you're having fun. But this explains it all, because today is Leap Second Time Adjustment Day. Everybody set your clocks back 1 second. Otherwise, you're going to be way off. Yeah. Leap Second Time Adjustment Day.
I've never heard of this before. Did you make this up? Is this brand new?
No, we read about it a week ago. You just weren't paying attention. So anyway, that's going on today. So if your clock is off by a second, we are all going to be in trouble. Now Day as well. National Organization for Women Day. Now Day. So celebrate when?
Now.
Now, exactly. All right. Again, today is a very special day. However you want to celebrate, get on out there and celebrate on this, the 30th day of June. It's a Tuesday, and we appreciate you listening.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Ever since I was a wee little lad, I've always liked kites. I don't know why. I remember when I was a kid, a friend of mine, he and I made a kite out of newspapers. It didn't work all that great, but it was cool. Ever since the story of Ben Franklin, I think, is when I got interested in kites. And this is probably the most terrifying story since then, since Ben Franklin's story. Chris Grimes of the United Kingdom had a big 10-foot by 4-foot kite that he was flying on a seamlessly calm day. That wasn't until the wind picked up. Following a sudden gust of wind, the 17-year-old was lifted 25 feet into the air, and it was carrying him, finally put him down in another town.
Oh, my gosh!
At one point, Chris almost dropped into a river 25 feet deep, managed only to skim the surface. Another gust of wind then hoisted him back up, but not before his pants were soaked. In fact, they were so wet and heavy they fell off while he was flying. A relieved Grimes finally landed injury-free in another town.
Where was this?
That happened in the United Kingdom. So, there you go. That is crazy. We'll have to chat.
I honestly did not know that was possible. You see that on cartoons and stuff. I didn't know that was a thing.
Hey, there's a movie called Deck Chair Danny. Remember this?
Oh my God, that was awful. We rented that on Crappy Movie Night.
We used to do a thing called Crappy Movie Night, where we'd pick out the dumbest looking movie we could find.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Deck Chair Danny?
Yeah.
And
I think so.
It was a guy that took a lawn chair. They call him a deck chair there. And he strapped a bunch of balloons to it, and it lifted him up and hoisted him, and he landed in another town.
Yeah, and
in the
just
United
started
Kingdom.
over.
And this guy did the same kind of thing inadvertently with a kite. So there you go. That is.
I really didn't know that was a thing.
Apparently it is. So there you go. It was a 10-foot by 4-foot kite. So when we get off the air, I got to go buy a really big kite. I'm going to probably need a bigger one because I'm a big old boy. How big of a kite do you think I'm going to need? All right. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Fun story here about a couple of young ladies. I don't know exactly how young they are. It says two little old ladies took a trip to Memphis, Tennessee to go check out Graceland. When they got done at Graceland, they stopped at a local shopping area, and they were quickly approached by a man who wanted their purses. Oh, that's not good. Not missing a beat, they beat him senselessly with the purses, causing him to fall down and break his ankle.
That's what I would have done.
He couldn't run. He had a broken ankle, so he used his phone to call 911 for help.
That is awesome.
The police came and arrested him. When they got there, he was curled up in the corner. The little old ladies had him pinned down. They were sitting on him.
Crying in the fetal position.
You know, I think they should make an example of this guy. They should recreate this and make a YouTube video to show you just how dumb it is to try to rob people.
Such a big, bad criminal.
Oh, yeah. Now you're in the corner curled up like a little baby. What's wrong? They broke your ankle. Ooh. Anyway, coming up here in a moment, we got some fun stuff to talk about. For those of you who want to protect your skin, we're going to talk about sunscreen. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club.
You can get razors every month for just $1. And for $2 more, they'll bring them right to your door. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more.
That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Sunscreen. I'm not a big fan of sunscreen.
I know you're
it's
not.
I don't know. It's all slippery and slimy. And
I wear it on my face, and I don't put it on every place else like I should.
Well, is it protecting your skin? Dermatologists say to shield your face and your body adequately when you're outdoors, you need 1 full ounce of sunscreen. So if you're not using a full ounce, you're not using enough. According to a Huffington Post article, you need to reapply that amount every 2 hours if you're staying dry, and even more than that if you're out like swimming and stuff.
Yeah.
Every 2 hours. They say most water-resistant sunscreens are rated for only 40 to 80 minutes. So if you're using some that you can use while you're swimming, They're saying that's fine, but you're going to have to,
reapply.
Lather up some more in about 40 to 80 minutes. All right, coming up, we've got rules for a great marriage. And I mean, who better to get these from than, John and Heidi?
That's right.
We're married to each other. I don't know if we'll agree with these rules, but we'll find out in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
I have rules for a great marriage. It says here, with divorce rates soaring to more than 50% of all marriages, the big question today is, how can we stay together? Experts agree that the most important factor to a good marriage is what, Heidi?
Communication.
You're absolutely right. Good job. We win. Communication. A deep, committed, and genuine caring is important as well. It says a great marriage can enrich your life. Wright authors 12 hours to a great marriage. Wow, you'd think it'd take more than 12 hours, but apparently that's all it takes. Authors Howard J. Markman, Scott Stanley, there's a whole bunch of other names. There's a bunch of people. Apparently it's 12 people to save a marriage because there's about that many.
Are they all men?
No, there's other names. Carol and Natalie. And anyway, they've drawn from their own experiences in wedded bliss at the University of Denver's Center for Marital and Family Studies to put together a manual with their 8 simple rules for a better marriage. You want to know what they are?
Yes.
Number 1, stay calm. Keep talks constructive, not destructive.
Right.
Number 2, take a time out. If you start having an argument, just say, wait. We're going to just take a break. We're going to go do something else, and then we're going to come back to this. And half of the time when you come back, you're like, what were we mad about again? Number 3, speak clearly. Make statements that reflect your feelings, like, I feel hurt, I feel sad, rather than assuming that your partner thinks that you're feeling hurt and sad. Number 4 on the list, listen. What was that again? Listen. State your gripe and then wait for a reply. Number 5, deal with it. Don't wait for a problem to escalate. Deal with it. Don't wait for it to get worse. Deal with it. Next, have fun. Sharing leisure time and doing things you both enjoy is important for being happy. We do a lot of leisure things.
We do.
And have fun. I think that's probably the key to our happy wedded bliss. We're always having fun together.
Well, I wouldn't say anything we do is leisure time. We just try to make everything fun.
Yeah, everything we do, we just have fun doing it.
But I would like to take a vacation. I could use some leisure time.
One of these days, we'll do that. Keep love alive. Even in the initial rush of romance has passed, connect physically by holding hands. We do that all the time. I hold your hand. We do. Half the time you don't want to hold my hand. You're like, well, I don't want to hold your hand. Get away from me, you smelly, sweaty beast. And then the last thing, forgive. In any relationship, someone's going to be hurt sometimes. It's important to say, I'm sorry, and mean it. Empty words are worthless. If you'd like to know more, they have, what is it called again? There's a book in here somewhere. 12 Hours to a Great Marriage. And if you can't invest 12 hours, you really shouldn't be married.
True story.
It's pretty important stuff. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We happen to be married, by the way, to each other. I know. How crazy is that? So thanks for listening to a show that knows all about this marriage stuff. Right here on a Tuesday.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF, toughkennels.com.
Are we there yet? Actually, we are kind of getting close to the end of the program, but here's what I'm talking about. Where's the furthest you've gone on a road trip? How far would you say you've ever driven?
Oh.
Like miles and miles and days and days?
I went on a road trip to Montana one time. That was the furthest I drove.
Joey, Josh, and Adam, 3 guys in their 20s, took a wild venture to go on a road trip, and they hit all 48 states, the lower states. They didn't hit.
Say there's more than 48.
Well, there's Alaska, which you can't drive. You can drive to, but you got to go through Canada, and Hawaii, which is really hard to drive to. The right car, you might be able to. Anyway, they did that, and they never stopped other than getting gas. Josh's father was the original planner who mapped the trip. He was going to take the challenge himself several years ago. The trip never happened due to the death of his mother, shortly before the journey was supposed to begin. So the baton, or the map rather, was passed on to Josh and his 2 buddies. The world traveled with them on their blog, and the trip began in Boston and ended in the Four Corners. To make the very long story short, you can see what they accomplished in 4 days. They did this in 4 days.
What would be the point of that? I mean, they didn't stop to enjoy any of it. They just wanted to
get
drive
to
through
every
it
single
and
state.
come home.
7,008 miles. It took 106 hours and 43 minutes. They saw 90 cops. They never got pulled over a single time. Showers taken, 0.
Ew.
Not a 1. It was a road trip for 4 days with no showers and.
Why would you want to? That doesn't even sound like fun to me at all. Not even a little.
I don't think that would be fun either.
I would not do that.
I'd want to, get out and see stuff.
I'd want to shower.
Yeah, definitely. But they were taking turns driving, and they just kept on going. All they did is stop for gas.
That's no fun at all.
But they did something cool, so there they go. All right. I think we should do something cool. Let's get out of here. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. We got a road trip to plan. Maybe not that, but we do have some fun stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you guys have great plans for this weekend. We've got the 4th of July sneaking up on us here. We're going to be doing some fun stuff for the rest of the week talking about that on the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And the bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. They love to give you little bonuses. By the way, I noticed you stole my eraser out of the medicine cabinet again. I found it in the shower. Did you do that, or did somebody else do that?
I do what?
Did you take the razor and put it in the shower again?
Not again. No, I wasn't even in there.
I think our daughter did that.
That would be our daughter.
I went through like 4 razor heads last week. I was using one, then you guys used it. I'm like, I'm getting rid of that. Different one. Just quit. Good news is they keep sending me stuff, so that's always nice. But dollarshaveclub.com/radio, you can get your own razors. Let me repeat that. Heidi, Taylor, you can get your own razors at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now the bonus break. 130 years ago, what happened, Heidi?
I don't know.
In New York City.
I don't know.
In the harbor.
The Tea Party.
No.
Or they threw the tea in the...
Okay, first of all, that was
over 200 years
That was more than 100, and it was not in New York. That was in Boston.
That was in Boston.
But good news, you were at least on the right coast. 130 years ago, the Statue of Liberty arrived in the New York harbor. In celebration, Time magazine released a series of photographs this month giving views of the statue before it was assembled at its current location. You can check out the photos and read more about the construction and the delivery of this national icon. And again, it's in Time magazine. And here's the amazing thing. You know, when it got here, we didn't put it together right away.
Mm-mm.
We let it sit there for quite a while.
Did we?
And because it showed up, and we had to build it. And they're like, we don't have the money to put this thing up right now, so we're going to just leave it sit for a while. And they raised money, and they built a nice pedestal. The statue is about half of the height of the overall thing. The pedestal is almost is about as tall as the statue itself.
It is beautiful.
I'm
glad they put it together.
I've seen it from an airplane, and I've seen it from like the skyline, but I've never like gone to the statue.
Yeah, I haven't either. We should do that
someday. Hey, that could be part of our road trip.
We could do that.
Oh, Ernest G. Johnson was recently arrested in Shreveport, Louisiana. Guess why?
Why?
We can only describe this as an out-of-control plaster cast fetish. Posing as an insurance employee, he was caught roaming the corridors of the hospital, sneaking photographs of women wearing casts.
What?
One police detective said, it's like all he wants to do is be in the presence of a woman with a cast and have her attention.
Oh, weird.
So he'd walk into a room, he's like, excuse me, I'm with the insurance agency, I need to get a pphoto of your cast.
Oh, weird. What a bizarre fetish.
Women with casts.
Huh.
So there's other women that he just passed right by. He's like, you have any casts? I just need photos of
so
casts.
Bizarre.
All right. In the United Kingdom, a guy broke into a car of a shoe salesman and took off with 80 of today's most fashionable shoes.
Huh.
The key there is the guy took off with 80 shoes, not 40 pairs. The salesman was carrying around a bunch of samples of new shoes.
Just
not
singles.
A pair among them. The bungling burglar got away with 80 right-footed shoes. Officers say they must have been hopping away. What are you going to do with all those shoes?
Hopping mad.
He's hopping mad. Yeah, so he stole a bunch of right shoes. So I wonder how that works. Do you think there's another salesman that gets all the left shoes?
You know what? I have seen, like on eBay, for some reason, people sell right shoe only, left shoe only, all the time. You see people listing.
Well, there could be somebody that has only
so
a right
maybe it's
foot.
somebody who just stole all these shoes and is selling.
Or it could be somebody that, they know there's a market, people who only have a right foot or only have a left foot. Why buy both shoes if you only need one?
It's just bizarre.
I'm not saying that there's a lot of people out there in that age, but there may be somebody listening to us I mean, not that has just one foot. I mean, there may actually be somebody listening to this.
But a lot of people who do have just the one foot usually have a prosthetic leg, and they need the shoe for the other foot anyway. So why would I just can't imagine a situation where you would only need one shoe.
I don't know. Hey, we're going to wrap things up here. With the 4th of July coming up on Saturday, we've got some good advice from a great American. I thought this was really neat. Teddy Roosevelt.
I loved Teddy.
Did you see? I posted this the other day. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcomings. But who knows the great enthusiasm, the great devotion, who spends himself for a worthy cause, who at best knows, in the end, the triumph of the high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. Wow, I wish I could speak like that. Isn't that just awesome when you hear that?
That is awesome.
Because he's saying, you know what, it's not about winning, it's about trying. It's not about succeeding, it's about actually attempting. And yeah, it's easy to sit on the sidelines and make fun of people who fail, but at least they tried. Mm-hmm. Because those who sit on the sidelines and make fun of people who never failed, they already failed because they never tried. So
true story.
Pretty cool stuff from Teddy Roosevelt. Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. Your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.